One of the most dangerous of superstitions, one that has kept humanity enslaved by its own misguided intentions, is that knowledge is dangerous. This superstition has mankind staring into the vast abyss of its own uncertainty, and instead of bravely diving down and illuminating the dark, we feign certainty. Certainty that, if we are not brave enough to explore, surely it's because there be monsters. What instinct leads people to believe that intelligence is dangerous, that knowledge is a loaded gun? Religion, and here I am sure to offend, and that would only prove my point, commonly exacerbates the issue with the idea of the sacred. Oh, we don't question that. It's sacred. To that I cannot help but feel there is ironic wisdom in the habits of children. This knowledge is sacred. Why? It is. Yes, but why can't I question it? Because it is sacred. But you still haven't answered why it's sacred. Now, debunking this faulty reasoning does not deflate all of religion. There is a tendency to ignore the more pro-rational habits of religion, the Gnostics and the apologetics that are not so afraid that there be monsters in this uncharted territory. Perhaps this is a practical application of faith. Faith that they are equipped to handle uncertainty. Faith that they won't find God's rotting corpse in that darkness. Which of course makes me wonder if that isn't exactly what those who demonize critical thinking expect to find. Try as I might, I cannot even think of a single case where knowledge is dangerous. Chemistry lab? Only a lack of foresight in chemical reactions could be dangerous here, and that is a good description of a lack of knowledge. Mary Curie serves as a cautionary tale not of the dangers of knowledge, but of the dangers where it is missing. For those who don't know Mary Curie, or who need a refresher course, she ushered in the discovery of the medicinal properties of radiation. However, due to a lack of knowledge at the time of radioactive attributes and the proper safety precautions while handling radioactive material, she ultimately succumbed to radiation poisoning, or at least that is the most probable cause of death. I can already hear the giddy triumph of the apologetics ringing in my ear. But if mankind did not encroach into areas he was not meant to, we would not have lost lives due to radiation poisoning. This should cause people understandable pause until we realize that yet again, it was a lack of knowledge concerning radiation that led to this destruction. Knowledge gained as an attempt to rectify this lack led to chemotherapy, as well as a fundamental understanding of the effects of radiation, naturally occurring or otherwise, on the human body. Let me emphasize naturally occurring here. This was not knowledge of what we created in the lab, but what we are constantly exposed to regardless of our advances. Another favorite example of the dangers of knowledge is J. Robert Oppenheimer, whose work on the hydrogen bomb led to his most memorable quotation of the Bhagavad Gita, "Now I have become death, the destroyer of worlds." This quotation speaks of deep remorse, but also deep understanding. Oppenheimer's sin, if it can be called that, was not the advancement of the science he so passionately adored. If he can be blamed at all, it can be argued, and indeed I would argue it, that it would be for political naivete. Although not ignorant of politics during the Manhattan Project by any means, Oppenheimer acted in a way that, if refocused, could have saved lives. But indeed, at the time, people honestly believed that the only way to prepare for peace was to prepare for war. To rephrase the age-old slogan, science does not kill people. Political fear-mongering and militant exploitation of it does. Fear of knowledge is no new superstition. From the tales of Adam and his damned apple to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, mankind has been fascinated by science's ability to plumb the morbid depths in search of new areas to illuminate. Cloning frightened those who can imagine the most exploitative use of this new science. Coding the genetics behind our existence still has people fearing designer babies. And we are right to fear the exploitation of knowledge. But knowledge itself? I often quipped, science can take us to the moon, but the arts can tell us why we'd want to go. I may live to see the colonization of Mars. Ignorance and fear are the two greatest enemies to science. Without these two flaws, we would possibly already be on Mars. If the ancient Greeks wrote the Hippocratic Oath, still in use in medical studies to this day, did not overcome their fear of the morbid field of surgery, how dark would the world of medical sciences still be? I myself was born of cesarean. Without the field of surgery that many ancient people were afraid of, I would not exist. Please forgive me if I do not fear any knowledge. It is this lack of fear, this courage and determination in the face of the unknown that led to my existence, that if we allow it will spread our species across the cosmos, and as if I did not owe that legacy enough, makes this entire video possible. This is the Boogeyman signing off. Be critical, question, and fear nothing. Not even me. Boom!